Okay, friends, this is the last episode of this marathon of filming I'm doing. I'm going to be using the dark arts kit from ScribblePrintsCo, and I'm going to preface this video with I hate J.K. Rowling. I don't support anything she says anything about the woman is just tragic, and she's a piece of shit loser. And that's simply just the fact of the matter, and it devastates me that because of her, there's such a sour taste in my mouth about one of my favorite things that literally like saved my life in so many ways, which is Harry Potter, is now like has such like a negative connotation. But I have this kit, so I am going to use it. Oh, maybe I'll try to use up some of my doodles that are Harry Potter themed, since I don't have any add-ons to use with this. So I think that's probably a good idea. But I am going to be using hunter green foil, but I did obviously want to preface this by saying that. It's 8, 9, 10, 11, okay, I don't have to use that. By saying that, like, my whole life, Harry Potter, like, meant so much to me, and it was the one thing that I could turn to whenever I was having a bad time in life, and the fact that the person who provided that for me is causing so much pain for so many people is absolutely disgusting. So I did want to start this by saying that. But as we jump into this week, this is the 15th through the 21st of September, and this is the week that my lovely friend Emily was in town. Emily is a doctor because she's like really badass and stuff. I'm using these Days of the Week script from my foil bundle, or from my shop. They're unfoiled, font choice 5, and then I'm going to be using the date numbers, font choice 5 in hunter green from the foil bundle, as well as the hole protectors in hunter green and hole choice 3 from the foil bundle. But she was basically in town because she was doing some sort of training for work, and she was like, well, I'm coming in Wednesday and I'm leaving Saturday, and the training is just Thursday, Friday during the day, and then I'm like free, and like I have a rental car that like I can come hang. And I was like, hell yeah, girl. So amazingly, we got to hang out like 3 times out of the 3 of the 4 days she was here. We hung out, which was amazing, and it was so nice to see her. She loves board games, so we did like a ton of gaming and just had like an overall wonderful time. But it was overall a really good week. Monday, I got McDonald's, got the laundry done, and then basically this week we were having session 1 of my D&D campaign. I have a lovely group of 6 gals, and we have started a D&D campaign that I'm DMing, and it's so fun getting to like introduce the game to people who haven't played before. But with that, I wanted to make sure we were as prepared as possible for session 1 because everybody spread out throughout the country. There are 3, me and 2 of the girls in the party are all live in Texas, but for the most part, this has 3 scenes. How do we even do that? Do we do just like 2 on this side? I guess. Wow, that's tricky. Okay. So, am I gonna put them in the middle or in the bottom? I think the bottom. So basically, we've been working, and I'll do the middle. Yeah, that'll work out. I'm starting this campaign. We were having session 1, and because everybody is spread all out through the country, trying to figure out what time to start, like without it being too late for East Coast, but not too early for Pacific Coast, has been a challenge. So I wanted to make sure that we were like when the session started, everybody kind of knew what was going on and how to play. Yes, obviously, fine answering questions, but a basic understanding of how the game is played would be really nice. There's a couple of people on the team who've already played before, but there's a handful of newbies. So on Monday, one of the newer people to D&D, Maria, she and I hopped on a Discord call so I could kind of give her the TLDR, how to play of D&D, as well as go over her character sheet and answer any questions she may have. It was like a 40-minute call, nothing crazy. I did some reading. I think I finished listening to the audiobook of Which You Would by Leah Amdor. I got that as like an audio arc. It was like fine. It's so funny. Kayla from Books and Lala just read it, and her, like, I thought maybe it was just me, but like her review was the exact same as mine, that like the book felt very young and almost like Disney characters, and it's such a, like a cutesy little story. So then when there was like explicit non-fade to black spice scenes, it felt so uncomfy. But anywho, I listened to some of that as well. Did I listen to anything else? Yes, I started listening to Dream On Ramona Riley this day, and I was reading Roll for Romance on my Kindle, which we will get to that nonsense, because I ended up DNFing it on my Kindle and listening to it on audio, which is not something I've ever done, but it was so necessary with this book, if I'm being so honest with you. Also, I'm finally getting hot. I need to turn the heated blanket off. So, I was listening to that stuff while I worked, watched YouTube, and watched some Dimension 20. Then Tuesday, I worked and I read. I finished I continued on with Dream On Ramona Riley. And then I also had a video call this day with Siobhan from who's in our D&D group. She's pretty familiar with D&D. She consumes a lot of D&D content via, not a YouTube video, but a podcast, yeah. Via podcast, so she, for the most part, knows how everything works, but we just were gonna tighten up the info, make sure she was good to go. Our call was literally like 15 minutes. It was barely anything, but we got that done. Chris and I went and got groceries this day. It was all this drama with his work, why we didn't get groceries on Monday, and I was honestly in a really bad mood about it, but we did that. Obviously had to get McDonald's on the way home because that's how getting groceries works. And then we came home and we watched the final bit of all of the Dimension 20 that is currently out, which is actually devastating news. Then on Wednesday, I talked with my dad on the phone in the morning, as well as this was the day that Emily was coming to town. I was talking on the phone with my dad, and I just kind of like chilled till Emily got here. She didn't get in super late this day, and so she came over, and she was to my house by like 3. I mean, like, I did other stuff, but nothing like of importance that I felt like marking. I was just kind of working on some stuff for D&D. And so basically, she got here, she came to my house, we went and we got ramen, we did a little bit of book shopping, we came to my house and we played some games, and then I had my D&D session this night, so she left, went to her hotel, and I had session 1 with my little D&D group, and I had fun. They say that they had fun, maybe they're lying, I hope not. I hope everybody had fun. And then I started watching Love Island Games because that had started. So, it had started the day prior, so I was like behind 1 episode. So I watched the 2 available episodes of Love Island Games, which I don't really like Love Island Games, if I'm being honest with you, but I'm just like at a point where I have a lack of things that I want to watch. So that's where we're at. Thursday the 18th, I worked and I read. I finished Dream On Ramona Riley and listened to the entirety of the Strawberry Patch Pancake House. And then I worked on some D&D stuff this day. I watched YouTube and watched Love Island Games. Basically, I had sessions 1 through 3 kind of like pre-prepped. And so then after session 1, I kind of had like the skeleton of the sessions. So after we had that first session, I wanted to go in and really tighten up the premise for session 2. And I wanted to do it kind of like pretty soon after session 1. Like, even though, because we're only meeting every other week, it's just like, I don't want people to feel like they have to commit too much time and that it's like a chore, because everybody's got busy lives, kids, jobs, what have you. So if I waited like 2 weeks to write down everything and like to figure out what we wanted to do, y'all, I would be a mess. I would be a mess. So I worked on that and I got everything kind of situated for that, which was awesome. Watched YouTube, watched Love Island games, you know, the huge. Friday I worked and I read. This was the day that I decided to bite the bullet. So I had been reading on my Kindle Roll for Romance since September 8th. And this point, it was the 19th. And I was struggling so hard. Not because, like, I didn't like it, but because it just, like, wasn't speaking to me. Like, the writing style wasn't overly working for me. Basically, the book is about this couple or these people, our main character, and she is kind of going through it in life. She recently lost her job, and she's kind of down about that, as one would be. No, like, shade on her. And so she goes and moves in from New York to Texas with her best friend, and he's kind of helping her get back on her feet. He's starting this D&D campaign, and it's all, like, noobs, which is amazing. And it just, like, would kind of abruptly switch to, the campaign. Like, it would just abruptly switch from the regular story to their D&D campaign, and I just, like, did not give a fuck about what was going on in their campaign. I was truly like, I cannot care less. It is going into way too much detail, and it, like, towed the line of, like, those parts being, like, a fantasy story. And as somebody who, like, deeply doesn't really like fantasy, like, I think the highest rating I've ever given a romantasy book, or fantasy in general, either one, is 3 stars. So it was just really losing my attention. So I switched my, like, on the 16th, my Everand subscription renewed. And if you don't know what Everand is, because I feel like a lot of people don't, and when I mentioned it, people were like, what? But basically, it's like this, it's kind of like Audible, except for instead of, like, buying books, the package I have is, I think, $16 a month. And you basically, kind of the way I see it, it's kind of like you're renting the books. And so essentially you pay with the package, with the subscription that I have, it is, you get to unlock 3 books per month, and then whenever the month ends, they relock. So you only have a month to listen to them. But as somebody who, A, reads books very quickly, within, like, a day to 2 days, that's not, like, an issue for me. I can see if you're somebody who it takes you, like, a month to get through one audiobook, that it would be, like, not worth it. But for somebody who goes through so many, paying, like, nearly $20 a month on Audible for one audiobook is wild. And I tend to only use it for, like, books that either are not available on Libby at all through my libraries, or books that have a really long wait. So on Everand, it's 3 unlocks a month, and then you're basically, like, paying $16 per rent 3 books. Which I personally think is a good deal, because the thing is even if I did own them, the likelihood of me ever rereading them is little to zero. And that's just the truth. I'm not a huge rereader. I've reread the Ellen Hopkins books, which I do plan on doing, like, a full, I have technically 2 TBRs right now, because both Haley and Emily wanted to pull my TBR, which I love. I think it's so fun if people want to be, like, included on my channel and stuff. So I had her pick, they both picked a TBR, so now I have, like, a really big current TBR, so I need to get through that. And then I'm going to do an Ellen Hopkins reread of all of her books and vlog it. But I have read all of her books multiple times. I've read all of Harry Potter multiple times. And I recently reread The Measure 1 year later. Still a 5-star. But I'm not, like, the biggest rereader, so I don't, like, care to not have the audiobooks permanently. Like, it literally means nothing to me. think one of the most satisfying things when I finish an audiobook on Libby is to return it. And like, next person in line can be so happy. So yeah, it's not a downside to me. Oh my god, I got too much on a tangent. Now I'm done with the base and I haven't finished talking. So anywho, that was basically Thursday, Friday. I filmed my TBR with Emily, and then Emily and I went out to dinner, and then we came back and we played some games. I taught her the stripper game. And then Saturday she was leaving, but we met at Snooze for breakfast, and it was so good. We came back, we played some games. I did some reading. I finished the audiobook of Roll for Romance. I worked all day, and I started the audiobook for Role Playing by Kathy Yardley. And I also was reading on my Kindle Pucking Around. And then I watched, finally, Happy Gilmore 2. I really liked it. And then Sunday I read and worked. I finished Role Playing, and I listened to all of Goodbye Earl, got fast food, watched TV, and watched some YouTube. So let's zoom in for the day by day. Okie dokie. I'm going to be using Font Choice 15 for all of my custom multis, and then if I use something from the foil bundle, it'll be in whatever font the foil bundle tells me it's going to be in. So we're going to use this tomorrow getting McDonald's. But basically this day, like literally the night prior, Chris's work was like, yeah, we actually need you to work the early shift tomorrow. And typically it wouldn't be a big deal, but we had literally no groceries in our home because Haley was in town, and so we went light on the groceries the week prior because we didn't want a bunch of stuff going bad. And so like it was very slim pickings. So for getting McDonald's, I'm gonna, and again, this is in Hunter Green, use the fast food icon. There are full sheets of those in the shop. We're gonna use the laundry basket icon for laundry. Then I'm gonna use the computer icon for chatting with Maria. And then I have like a whole binder of like pop culture stickers. So we're just gonna roll into the good old HP shit. For reading, I'm just gonna grab Harry. So for Mickey D's, I don't even know how I acquired McDonald's. I must have went before Christmas. I think Chris had to be in at 10, not like super early. So I think I got McDonald's breakfast as like a consolation prize for the whole thing. Okay, talk to Maria and I read. Then down here, we're gonna mark working, work. Is anybody else literally not able to say that like work without thinking of the song work? Because if you don't think of the song, you are stronger than me, because every single time. Never fails, has never failed yet. I love this like lightning pattern, it's so fun. So for work, we're gonna grab Hermione. Gonna use the movie clapper for YouTube binge and the TV for watching Dimension 20. So for work, we're gonna grab a work script, of course, a YouTube binge script, and a D20 script. On to Tuesday. This week was like a lot of catching up on work, because I was a fair bit behind from, I had like a sale for my birthday, and so I wanted to get that stuff done, which I did. I wasn't very successful in that this week. I will pat myself on the back for that. We're gonna skip over Ron and Umbridge, because I don't really match the spread with his red hair and her pink outfit. We'll go with Draco for work, and we can go with Dumbledore for reading. Work and read. This is my third plan with me in a row that I filmed, and I'm so excited to not talk for hours, truly. Well, no, I have to get ready and film a different video, but then I'm gonna zip it for the rest of the night. That's gonna be for talking to Siobhan. It's also so funny, not funny, but I like love that we have somebody named Siobhan in our party, because Dimension 20, one of the characters' names is Siobhan, and she's like also their wizard, which I just thought of that. I gotta tell them in the group and be like, get this, what are the odds? She's also the wizard. Okay, so for chatting with Siobhan, I'm gonna use the computer icon from the mini icons sheet, because we talked via the computadora. And then I got groceries. Finally, we got so many groceries. Also, real time this week, I got stuff to make like this summer salad, and it's like a hyperfixation. I already ate it for lunch, and I want to eat it again right now, and I'm not even hungry. Okay, so if we're talking to Siobhan, we're gonna grab a Siobhan sticker, and then groceries sticker, and then takeout sticker. And this is from the foil bundle, so it's in font choice 6, and then a D20. Then we'll move up here. I did chat with me dad, with mi padre. I don't know why I'm like being so speaking Spanish today. Okay, and then Emily arrived. Hell yeah. And we got ramen. We did a little bit of shopping. Nothing crazy. The ramen place that we went to is just literally next to a half price book. So we popped in and I was able to find book 2 in a series that I have started. So I haven't read the first book, but it's sports romance. So it's not going to take much to make me happy. We're going to use Hagrid to mark Emily arriving. Why? I should have used Ron here because she has red hair and Ron has red hair, but it just does not match. And then we'll use that for ramen, and then we'll use the shopping bag for shopping. So we'll grab a with dad. Oh my god. Did I not do a with dad script? This is like the 15th time that I've done this. I'm just gonna mark it as appointment, okay? Isn't it an appointment to talk to my dad? No, but it's scheduled every Wednesday. So that's what I'm using. Emily, we got ramen. And I'll use the shopping script from the foil bundle, so that'll be in font choice 6. Then down here, we played some games. I had my little D&D session, a little D&D session, and then watched some Love Island games, of course. Okay, so for Emily and I playing games, we use Bellatrix. For D&D, I am going to use a D20. I have like a bunch that I made for myself, so we'll pop that in there. And for Love Island games, I'm just going to use a heart icon because it makes sense, obviously. So for us playing games, I'm going to grab a great game night script. Gonna use a D&D script. And a Love Island games script. LI games, because I'm not writing the whole thing. Moving into the second half, we'll mark work and read. For work, we will use Hedwig, and then for read, we'll go back to the top and use Harry. All of these are from SPC. Work and read. Then I worked on D&D stuff, so we have to also mark that as work, of course, because it takes a lot of effort and time, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna use this. Then I will mark that I watched YouTube and Love Island games. For LI games. Okay, so for working on the D&D stuff again, I am going to use the D20 just to kind of distinguish that it was this that I was working on rather than actual work. And then we're going to use the movie clapper for YouTube binge and the heart for Love Island games. Grab a work script, grab a YouTube binge script, and grab a Love Island games script. On to Friday, we will mark working and reading again. Working and reading. So for work, we will grab Hermione. For reading, we will grab Draco. work and read. And then Emily and I did film, so I will mark that next. We got dinner, and then we played some games. So for filming, I'm going to use the filming camera from the mini icons sheet. Then for getting food, we will use Dumbledore. And for playing games, we will use Hagrid. I don't have a film script. I fucked up again. I did really bad. Anything? I'll just use this work. I don't know. I don't know. I done messed up too many times. Got food with Emily. Had a game night. Sure. Saturday, Emily and I did get breakfast. And played some games. And I did read. Okay, so for us getting breakfast, I'll use Bellatrix. For playing games, I'm going to use the card icon from the mini icons sheet. And then for reading, I will use Hedwig. With Emily. Game night. Read. Perfect. Then I'm going to use this to mark work. And I watched Happy Gilmore 2, so I want to use the movie marquee for that. So for working, we'll bring it back to the top and grab Harry. I'm not going to mark anything in here, just going to put Happy Gilmore 2. I love Adam Sandler, so, you know, it was a win for me. And then on to here, on to Saturday, we will use this for work and this for read. We will grab Hermione and Draco. Perfect for working and reading. Again, work. I'm going to use the read script from the foil bundle, which is going to be in font choice 3. And then we'll move into fast food. TV time. And a YouTube binge. Perfect. So, for getting fast food, I'm going to use the car icon from the mini icons sheet. And then for TV time, we'll use Dumbledore. And for YouTube binge, we'll grab Hagrid. Fast food, I'm going to use the fast food script from the foil bundle, which is in font choice 5. The TV time from the foil bundle, which is in font choice 4. And then we have a final YouTube binge in my custom multi back in font choice 15. But that is all she wrote. I am so done. My hands are so dry. I need 1,000 pounds of hand lotion. And that is everything, friends. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, then give me a thumbs down. Either way, you're helping out my channel. I've not said that in a while. Comment down below, subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.